Hey guys, it's Hannah, and today I want to talk about the top 16 books I want to read in 2016. Now these 16 books are all standalone books. I've decided not to include the series that I want to read this year in this list. So these are going to be the 16 standalone books that I want to read in 2016, and then I'm going to make a separate video on the series that I want to read. There won't be 16 of them. I don't think there are 16 series that I actually want to read, but there will be at least like 5, maybe 10 in that video. So none of these books are in any particular order of when I plan to read them. They're just all books that I really want to get to in this year. But there are 16 books to talk about, so this is going to be a long video, so I'm not going to spend too much time on each one, so let's just jump right into it. The first book that I plan to read in 2016 is a book that I've actually already started, and it is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. I've been wanting to read this book for a very long time now, and I decided that this is the year that I'm finally going to read it because it's very short and I just got it for Christmas. So I've already started it and I'm really enjoying it. So I hope to finish this one very soon. So the next book that I really want to read is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I said in like 3 of my TBRs in 2015 that I was planning to read this book, and then I never ended up reading it. So this year I'm finally going to read it because I said it so many times and I just need to finish it already. The next book that I really want to get to this year is Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I'm borrowing this book from a friend and I've been borrowing it for like at least 6 months now, and it's really bad that I haven't read it yet, so I definitely plan to get to this one very soon. The next book on my list is also a book that I mentioned in multiple of my TBRs, and that is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Again, like Night Film, I mentioned this book way too many times and I just need to get to reading it already. The next book that I really want to get to this year is The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. I wanted to read this book right when it came out, but then I just never picked it up when it came out, and that's really bad of me. So I'm definitely going to get to it this year, and I think I'm going to get to this one fairly soon because again, it's not too long, so I think that I could read it pretty quickly. The next book on my list is Atonement by Ian McEwan. I watched the movie for Atonement for the first time in 2015 and I fell in love with it, and then I decided that I absolutely had to read the book, and I wanted to read it immediately, but I didn't pick it up immediately. And again, like everything else in this video, I really need to get to it, and I want to get to it very soon. So it is making my list of books that I need to read this year. The next book on my list I wanted to read immediately after I finished Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe because it is by the same author, and that is In Perfect Light by Benjamin Elias Sands. I absolutely love Sands' writing, and I needed to pick up more of his books, and this is the only other one that I own. So I definitely plan to get to it this year because I need more of his books. I need more of his writing, so I cannot wait to get to this one. The next book that I plan to read in 2016 is a book that I haven't read for I have no idea what reason, because I honestly should have picked it up the day that it came out, but I never did, and it's been years. So it is The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. Like I mentioned, I have absolutely no idea why I didn't pick this book up right when it came out back in, I don't even know when, 2013, 2012, I don't even know. But I should have read it then, and I never did, and I'm gonna make this year the year that I finally get to it. The next book that I really want to get to in 2016 is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I've mentioned this many times before, but I've never read a Rainbow Rowell book, and this book is the one of her books that interested me the most because I'm not usually a fan of contemporary. So I thought, why not pick up her only fantasy book to see if I like her writing, to then see if I will read any of her contemporary books. So I decided to start with this one, and I really want to get to it this year. The next book that I plan to read in 2016 is Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. This book has been sitting on my shelf for a while now. I bought it back I think in like August or July, I don't even know, but I just never read it when I got it. And I really want to read it this year because it's historical fiction and I'm like always in the mood for historical fiction. So I definitely plan to get to this one this year. The next book that I plan to read in 2016 is probably one of my most anticipated reads for the year, and that is The Grace Keepers by Christy Logan. This book has been compared to The Night Circus in many of its aspects, and as we all know, since The Night Circus is my favorite book, I will read anything that anyone says is somewhat similar to it to see if it is at all similar to it. So I'm really excited to read this one, and I'm really hoping that it lives up to my expectations. And I've heard from several people actually that it is very good, so I have high expectations. Hopefully those are met. The next book that I plan to read this year is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I actually already know what month I'm going to be reading this book in because I've planned a buddy read with Daniela over on Pixie Tonic, and we have both decided that we're going to buddy read this book in March, I believe. So that is when I'm going to be getting to this book, and I'm very, very excited for it because this, again, has been sitting on my shelf for too long and I've been meaning to read it for too long. The next book on my list is another book that I have been wanting to read for far too long, and I'm really upset with myself that I haven't picked it up yet, and that is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I've heard countless times from countless people that this book is absolutely fantastic, and I just need to read it already, and it's been sitting on my shelf for too long, and like I said, I'm really mad at myself because I haven't picked it up yet and I don't know why. So I'm gonna make this year the year that I finally read it, because it's been way, way, way too long. The next book that I plan to read this year is A Constellation of Vital Phenomena. You can see a historical fiction trend going on here. I have quite a few historical fiction books planned to read. I'm not too upset with myself on this one because it hasn't been sitting on my shelf for too long. I didn't get it too long ago, so it's more reasonable, it's more okay by my standards, but I definitely want to get to it this year. I don't want to put it off more than that, so I cannot wait to start reading this one. And we are down to the final two. So the second to last book that I plan to read in 2016 is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I just got this book as a birthday present from one of my very close friends, and I've been wanting to read it for very, very long. But now I finally own it, so I definitely have to read it, and I cannot wait to get to this one because I've heard from a lot of people that it's a very, very good book, and I know it made a lot of people's top books of 2015 list, so I cannot wait to get to this one. And finally, the very last book on my list of books that I plan to read in 2016 is Why We Broke Up by Daniel Handler. I've been wanting to read this book since even before I read the series of Unfortunate Events books because I'd heard that it was very, very good. But after reading the series of Unfortunate Events books, I really, really want to read this one because I love Daniel Handler's writing, and I've heard that this story is really fantastic. And I'm kind of in the mood for a little sappy love story, even if it is sad, I don't mind. I love sad books. So I cannot wait to get to this one, and I think I'm gonna pick this one up after I finish A Monster Calls because, again, it's not too long and it's also illustrated, and I'm kind of in the mood for some illustrated things, so I think I'll be getting to this one very, very soon. So that is it, guys. Those are the top 16 books that I plan to read in 2016. Obviously, I think that I will get to more than these 16 books, and at the same time, I don't think that I'll end up reading all 16 of them. I don't know. I'm very much a mood reader, so I will just read whatever I'm in the mood for. So who knows what will happen, but I really do want to get to all 16 of these this year. So let me know in the comments down below, what are your top 3 books that you really want to get to this year, and let me know if there are any books that I should add to my list of books that I should read this year. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! The shelf that you guys always see in the backdrop of my videos, and then there's me, and then there is this other shelf.